Man, I used to play the trap spot, propped on the block like I was part of the backdrop. Now it's scale, props, effects, and backdrops. The right lighting, you never catch me biting. Say you make it look so real when you pose the figures fighting. I caught lightning, stuck it in the detour. Replicate epic scenes from the Creed War. Compose pieces with artists that span the globe. Fearsome foes, Spidey in the picture perfect pose. Insert the comic book cutout to shoot a show. Oh, you ain't know? Yo, everybody know me. I made nerds cool, cool nerd like my man Zobi. Took the everyday display, gave it a spark. Welcome to articulated comic book art.
That's crispy.
Yes, sir. We're officially back at it. This is Boog Nice coming at you here. Well, I guess this will be sort of like a little smorgasbord, something similar to main course. I haven't put anything up on the channel for a little while. It's been a lot going on. There's a lot of stuff I want to talk about in this video. But the main purpose of this video is to showcase this new diorama that I got from my man Ron, aka Lawless Studios. So I'm going to go through everything that was packed in here. It's been a mission to even get this. It was sitting at the post office for a couple of days, and then I had to bust a move to go get it, and then I didn't even have my keys to get into my apartment, and it was just a lot. But I'm very, very pleased with the overall look and design of this and the possibilities, and we're going to go through all of that. So I'm going to go through everything that was packed in here bit by bit, and I guess I'll set up something and show you guys some lighting techniques and just a couple of things. A lot of people always asking me about lighting and spacing and staging and all of that stuff. So, you know, I'm one that likes to stage my displays. You know, some people just go in the great outdoors and just shoot something with their surroundings, but you know, I like to use dioramas from different people, and it's been my mission over the past couple years to try to get a piece from all of the people that I respect in the game that's doing their thing and helping to advance this nerd sport of sorts for us. And so yeah, I was really happy to get this. I'm gonna go through everything that was packed in. My girl says I should have told the real story, but I don't want to be blowing myself up. But basically what I did to pick up this package was I knew it was there, and I knew I didn't want to wait till Saturday to pick it up, because my local post office is a pain in the ass. We're picking up things on Saturday. They have one person working, and then the line is outside of the door. So, you know, you spend a good chunk of your Saturday there, you know, trying to pick up a package, and I didn't want to do that. So I left work midday, and shout out to my man Swift, because he actually came in and picked me up and took me all the way. I live pretty far from my job too, by the way. So he took me all the way uptown. And when I got here, I realized I didn't have my keys. So I went over to the post office. I picked up the package, brought it to the crib, and I realized I didn't even have my keys because I had on my suit from work. You know, I have to wear a suit at work every day, and I change at work in my office basically. And so my keys were still in my jacket pocket. But luckily, my neighbor was home. And so I left the package with my neighbor and told him I'll come back after work and pick it up, and went back to work. So yeah, that was that. But so this was packed in first. I don't know if this is showing up. A little card here, and it says Lawless, and this is Facebook information and Instagram information. So you should absolutely follow Ron on Instagram, and I'm sure he's going to get a lot of requests and a lot of work after this, because this is phenomenal work here that I'm about to showcase. But it says handmade for Boog Nice, forest diorama number 46, set contents, forest base number 1, modular trees by 5, foliage pack, vine pack, shrub pack, cobweb pack. And it says directions: when unpacking the diorama, use caution to avoid damage in the paint. Peel tape slowly. This was very nicely packed. For the most part, I've noticed that anybody who builds dioramas has been very proficient in packing up the dioramas and getting them to you. I've never had a damaged diorama. I don't think I've ever received a damaged diorama. But yeah, it also says our dioramas are made of durable foam, yet can be damaged if dropped or by pressing sharp edges down to hard. Cleaning, maintenance, use soft bristle duster or canned air, usually found in electronics department at your local store. Caution for ages 15 and up. So that was cool. That was in there. And then these are the other packs, little shrubberies and little added things that I can put in a diorama and use as modular pieces. And I had some of these different things. Look like he sent me some polyester here as well, which I always say is much better than cotton. If you want a smoke effect that is tangible and that looks good and shows up great on camera, and you can actually light it with colored light and it'll pop and look really dope. For instance, if I were to use some green light on this and did like a Batman thing with kryptonite or something like that, it would look great. So always polyester. You can find them in pillows, or you could just buy a bag of polyester. Always better than cotton. And that's that. Dropping stuff. And then he aside from the base, I guess I'll get into, well, let me get into these modular pieces first. He actually packed in a bunch of different modular trees here, basically, and you can see the detail on here. You can see the moss at the bottom. Again, this is just foam, but it looks fantastic. And being that they're modular, you can place them in a diorama wherever you want them and move them around, or not even use them with the diorama. That's one of the joys of doing this stuff too, is that you can combine dioramas from different builders and do different things and really explore the limits with great depth, and you know, add things to the back and to the front. But if I didn't even want to use the base and I just want to use the trees for some display, I could. So yeah, there's 5 of these, and they're all shaped differently, and they absolutely look like trees. So that's cool. And again, I can place these wherever I want. Some of these are a little thicker on the trunk than others, but you know, he didn't build them too high. You're not going to really see that too much when you're going through everything. And my lighting probably looks a little crazy right now, but you know, I'll go over that. Like I said, I think I'm gonna give you guys a little tutorial on how I set up stuff here. But let's look at the base of this thing a little more closely. The texture feels crazy. It almost actually feels like stone or rock. He did an amazing job with texture in this thing and laying down all of the moss and stuff, and getting it to stick on there. As long as you're careful, you shouldn't really have too many issues, and you know, keep it in a cool, dry place, then there shouldn't be too many problems when you messing with this thing. For the most part, I've kept all of my dioramas in pretty good shape, but you can see all of the rocks and everything here, and this trail down the middle looks great. And he put it on sort of an incline, so there's like a little hill, and this looks great. My only gripe is that he didn't actually continue the rock on this back side, because I actually wanted this to be through and through, because I wanted to use this side for different things. I was already planning out a bunch of different things in my head before I even got this thing, because you know, he was showing me work in progress pictures, which I guess will pop up. I guess I'll have a bunch of pictures popping up here, but he was showing me work in progress pictures, and I was already planning out. I knew it was going to be an incline. I knew I would have an opportunity to have a little cliff here. So again, if I wanted to just have somebody standing up here and maybe use the Tamashi water effects and have water splashing there, or shoot from a lower angle to make it look like it's very high up. But I do have other modular pieces. One second. Other pieces that I could use to just kind of cover that and do some different things. These were some pieces that were packed in with a diorama that I got from my man Flash, and not to steal any of Ron's thunder or anything like that, but you know, again, like I said, this is the beauty of having a lot of different pieces from different people. And this was a larger base that I had from my man JD Paint Samurai, so if I wanted to put this to the other end or something like that, you know, the options are there. It's a lot of different options when you have different things to work with. But this just looks phenomenal. This entire base, everything looks so great. I'm really happy with this overall. So yeah, moving forward, let's get into, oh, you want to see a figure here so you could kind of see the scale. It's pretty massive, and like I said, this video is going to be all over the place. This is actually the Mr. Fantastic body with a custom head from my man Craig Warwick. I showed this on my Instagram. I'll show you a closer look at the head. So yeah, I hope this is showing up well. Again, my lighting is kind of crazy right now, but yeah, so Craig did a little Johnny Storm head, and this looks phenomenal. And we just about to complete our Fantastic Four. As a matter of fact, Hasbro Pulse just put up a picture of Thing yesterday. I guess that'll pop up on the screen, so I'm happy about that. So with staging and with setting up displays, there's a few key things that you need. You absolutely need lights. You need a lot of lights. This is something that I outlined in a video that I put up some time ago that was similar to this, showing a diorama and showing a little tutorial for lighting and stuff like that. You need a lot of lights. You got to treat your setup like it's a little miniature movie set. And you know, even the darkest movie sets have a ton of lights. So being able to have different lights with different hues and different colors and things like that is what's really gonna bring your display to life and make it look good and make it eye-catching and all of that good stuff. So these lights here, people always ask me about them. I've showed these before, but you know, it might be some new people on the channel or what have you. These came with a pretty standard diorama, a pretty standard light box that a lot of people get off of Amazon. Maybe I might be able to have a picture of that pop up. You can see these lights got some crazy mileage on them. I've dropped them a bunch of times. I've really put them through the ringer, but they still working. And the thing about these lights though is that they are extremely bright, but they get extremely hot and they're dangerous. You got to be careful. They will absolutely burn through a diorama and they will burn the shit out of you as well. So you got to be careful with these. I would not put them close to a diorama. They will melt the foam. There's no question about that. But the thing that's great about these is they're great for lighting up backdrops, for poster paper, for making your poster paper look like your atmosphere, because that's essentially what it is. You should never have poster paper as your backdrop that have shadows showing up on them. So you need really bright lights to avoid that. And so yeah, and these are also good for lighting up effects, flames, explosions from Tamashi, those things. This is what I always use to light my effects, and what makes them look so vibrant is these lights. So if you could get a couple of these, then you know it would be good. So I'm gonna use those to light up the backdrop, what you see all the way back there, which is a multicolored backdrop. Let me leave that rolling. Yeah, this is just a multicolored backdrop. You see it's green and blue, and this is great because I can use the green base to kind of look like the continuation of this foresty area, and the blue, if the camera even goes up that high, will be the sky or the atmosphere, what have you. So these you can find for just a couple of bucks. I hope you guys can hear me. Those you can find for just a couple of bucks at a CVS or Walgreens or something like that. They come in a pack. They're pretty big, but you want a big area or a large piece of paper to cover your backdrop. So aside from that, I got a bunch of different lights. This is like a 3-pronged light here. And inside here right now, the bulb that I have there is not a white light. It's sort of like a reddish hue. Mostly you want white lights. So something like this. I got another light with an arm, and there's another light on the right over here with the arm, and those lights are white though. Usually when I'm shooting my reviews, I'll use the 2 white lights on the side and then this sort of reddish light in the front. You know, you got to figure out your own situation with your lighting and what's comfortable for you. But I'm going to switch it up. I'm going to use a white light from the front and use the 2 black lights that I showed on this backdrop and set that up and show you how that looks. All right, so a real basic setup here. You just got to make sure that when you use a backdrop of any kind, any poster paper, that there is sufficient space between the backdrop and the diorama so there's no shadows showing up on there, and your lights are bright and close, not too close, because you don't want the light to be concentrated in one area unless you're doing that purposely to make it look like the sun or something like that. But I try to even out the light. It's not even as it should be right now. But and then after that, it's pretty much about the angles. A common mistake that people make is that they'll either hold the camera and try to shoot something, or they'll shoot at the same level that they're at, instead of trying to hit low angles and really try to create a certain illusion and atmosphere. You know, you got to be able to hit different angles and move things around. I'm kind of straight on right now, but obviously I can do a bunch of different things. But I'll set up something for perspective just so you can see. I'm working with 4 lights, the 2 lights on the backdrop, 1 here in the front, and one on the right here. So let's see what I could do. Alright, so I think I got a decent angle. Lighting is probably still not right, but I could start kind of adding in the trees here for a little bit of depth. And again, this is just, you know, this is just one angle and countless, infinite ideas and different things that you can do with any diorama, not just this one. And again, when you add on other parts and stuff like that, it really will take it to the next level. But as you can see, it's starting to sort of come together, and this is literally just a base and a poster board backdrop and some lights. Yeah, just adding a couple of the trees. I don't really see the need to add all of them because they're not gonna all show up. But I do have all of them in there right now. And you know, as you get a little closer, then things really start to take shape. I think I want to put this one out a little bit, or maybe put this one back so you can see. I don't know if that's showing up or not. And then you can do whatever you want to do from here. I got some other little grass plates and some different trees that I could add, but let me get a figure in there so you can really see the scale. Yeah, I'm all over the place, but I've been wanting to break this out. Shout out to my man Diego Carlo too, who sent me another one of these ships. I don't know if it's from this same series, but I wanted to break this out for some MSD action, multi-scale displaying. So that's the fun of working with different depths and things like that, is doing something. So I'm gonna see if I could set something up real quick here with this. And just like that, you can have a little something. I got the SH Figure Arts Han Solo here, and I got the little mini Slave One on the on an A.C.B.A flight stand, and I've got some of Han's body covering the full length of the stand. If I was to take pictures, the fact that the focus would be on Han would probably get rid of most of the other stand, but I could use a cutout or something. You know, when you display intangibly, it's all about the angles, you know, as far as hiding the stands and stuff like that. So, you know, you see if I move him, you can see the length of the stand there. There's other things I could do, but, you know, this is kind of on the fly, and I'm just showing you some ideas. But, yeah, it's all about angling and positioning when you are shooting tangibly. I could add some cutouts and some different effects and stuff like that. But as long as your overall scene is completely contained and you're kind of engulfing the viewer into that particular world, then, you know, you could work. I wouldn't be done with this, but, you know, it's just giving you an idea and just giving you some inspiration, I hope. But yeah, moving right along. Yeah, and I'm knocking everything over, but maybe some those pictures should show. Some pictures should show up. But yeah, I was really pushing it to the limit and doing a lot as far as adding explosions and lights. You know, that's a little more advanced, I guess, trying to work with that light and with your actual lighting for the setup and the lighting for the explosions. But and just spinning it around. You know, you don't need to do anything too dynamic. Obviously, you have a lot of options for just vanilla things too. Shout out to my man Alex Garcia, who painted this Black Panther for me. This was the Pink Panther. And he just painted it all black, and then I took the little necklace around Black Panther's neck and just put a dab of crazy glue in the front center and on the back to keep it down. And this guy's looking very clean. And yeah, man, I got to get out of here. Obviously I'm gonna be shooting this dial a lot. I'm trying to finish up an episode of Main Course, but you know, I wanted to go through this and shout out my man Ron, shout out Lawless Studios. I am more than pleased with this diorama. And I would highly recommend his work. I'm going to be having another showcase, a diorama showcase. I'm getting something new from my man Chris Lyons as well. But all of Ron's information will be in the description below. And hey, listen, I love when people comment. I read all of the comments. You know, I try to respond to as many as possible. One thing that I don't do is I don't block people. If you say something stupid in the comments or offensive or whatever, it is what it is. Like, you know, I don't be going too crazy into it. I might respond. I might go back and forth with you sometimes, but I don't block people, and I do try to respond to as many comments as possible. I mean, that's what YouTube is about. It's about interacting with, you know, with the community and with your viewers and stuff like that. So I try to be as interactive as possible, but I don't give price information on dioramas. If I review a figure and do a figure and tell you something, I'll tell you how much I paid, but I do not say how much I paid for dioramas. I absolutely paid for this. You know, your price might be something different. You know, I don't know. It depends on what you want. Every diorama is unique for the most part. So, you know, move forward at your own caution or whatever, but I would absolutely recommend that you do two things: that you join the A.C.B.A. Facebook group so you can kind of learn some of these tips and tricks and stuff that I was talking about in this video, and you join our sister group Dio Structure as well, where there is hundreds of diorama builders and people that are commissioning, that you can commission for work and different things like that. Ron is a part of that group. Lawless Studios is a part of that group. So, I mean, there's plenty of people to choose from, but Ron's information will be in the description below, and I would highly recommend that you hit him up directly. So yeah, thanks for hanging out. Out of this video is probably like 15-20 minutes or whatever, but it is what it is. Like I said, I'll be putting a bunch of footage with this diorama in the next main course, and stay tuned for quite a few things. I got the Old Man Logan Wolverine coming, and a couple of different reviews. So yeah, as always, rate, comment, and subscribe, and until next time, peace.